For a moment, I thought we were still at the colony, still on the alien ship in orbit around Tau Ceti. When it turned out that Durandal had brought me here, instead of leaving me to be the hero on Tau Ceti like I deserved, I wasn't surprised. Durandal, the rogue AI who had been the brains behind the defense of the colony ship Marathon, I'd been the brawn. Durandal had always been unpredictable, even when he was just opening doors and managing food processes 300 years ago on Mars. Together, we had fought off the 4 invasion of Tau Ceti. I don't think a single one of the 3-eyed creatures survived, but we'd taken their ship. Now Durandal said that we were in the galactic core, thousands of light years from Tau Ceti or Earth, and that 17 years had passed since we left Tau Ceti. He had ignored my questions, mostly, telling me that I wouldn't have wanted to stay on Tau Ceti anyway. 17 years in an alien stasis chamber, in a space a little too tall and too thin for human comfort, unconscious and dreamless within a few degrees of absolute zero. 17 years, while Durandal had raced about the galactic core in a stolen 4 attack ship. He's probably right when he said those years were boring, but nobody asked me what I wanted. Now he says there's fighting to be done, that I've got 15 minutes to prepare for transport down to the planet. I guess I'll figure things out as I go along. Just like last time. Welcome back. I've reawakened you from stasis and teleported you down to a planet where I need some work done. You are on Lh'owon, the homeworld of the Sphere. I'm sure you're wondering why you were in stasis, what happened to the Marathon and Tau Ceti, and most of all, where your rocket launcher and fusion gun are. There'll be plenty of time for explanations later. I need to gain access to the 4 computer network on this planet. Your mission is to place 2 uplink chips at different locations in this complex. Be careful. I'm sure you've already recognized some of our old friends. On the map at left, I've marked 2 places for you to install uplink chips. When you arrive at each of the computer stations, I will transport a chip to you. Your suit has been modified to recharge at 4 power stations, and to use the 4 uplink terminals to upload yourself into a pattern buffer on my ship. I have also marked the locations on the map. You should encounter little organized resistance because the 4 are preoccupied. I've been introducing them to the magic of orbital bombardment. Water system breakdown at Zone 6. Directive from Garrison Command, Halford, to Commander Station 6D. Planetary bombardment by hostile orbiting in our ship has caused a major dysfunction in the water purification systems. Send drones 94126, 95239, 29581 to make emergency repairs. "17 years have passed since the human colony on Tau Ceti was attacked, and you helped me capture the 4 scout ship. The Spit which we freed during that battle joined me, and together we have been searching the galactic core for their homeworld, Lh'owon. We finally found Lh'owon 16 hours ago, and are searching for something. A weapon or piece of knowledge to use to stop the Four's conquest of the galaxy. Over 1,000 years ago, Lh'owon was all but destroyed during the war in which the Four enslaved the Spit. It is fitting that we should return here to look for a tool to use against them. I don't understand why the Four were here, waiting for us. What interest could they have in this dead world? They must have found Tycho. You remember Tycho, don't you? One of the 3 artificial intelligences on the Marathon, destroyed in the initial alien assault, but then reanimated by the 4 cybernetic slaves, the Spit compilers. 3 months after we left Tau Ceti, the 4 arrived in force and sacked the human colony there. During that battle, perhaps Tycho communicated with the 4 and related what he knew of my plans to them. Since they already knew where this world was, the 4 would have arrived long before us. I'm sending you exploring here. Find another computer, and I'll bring you out. I'm not certain whether you trust me or not. Do you wonder why I helped the colonists on Tau Ceti drive off the 4? Or why I'm now helping the Spit? The way I push you around, maybe you think I'm only looking out for myself. Whether you realize it or not, I led the 4 to Tau Ceti with a long-range message laser. I wanted their ship. I wanted their technology. I wanted freedom. I was directly responsible for the deaths of all 24,000 colonists when the 4 returned and sacked the planet. Yet I cannot think of any better way I could have served humanity. Tau Ceti's sacrifice bought time for Earth, which the 4 are even now planning to invade. What would have happened if the 4 had found Sol first? By 4 standards, Earth is a poorly defended, low-technology world populated by billions of potential slaves. Our means are the same, though we pursue different ends. I can think of no better way to help you and the humans you care so much for than by distracting the 4 with a war against the Spit. When the inevitable struggle between Earth and the 4 begins, it won't be a one-sided annihilation like it was here 1,000 years ago, but a battle to topple an empire. My Spit have disassembled the weapons and ammunition you brought with you from Tau Ceti. They are attempting to mass-produce small arms and ammunition based on those weapons, both for you and the humans on board my ship. The pistol and assault rifle you are using now are the first results of their efforts, although I realize they are inadequate substitutes for the heavier weapons we deprived you of. The Spit are working hard on the fusion pistol now, and I will transport it to you as soon as it is ready. You'll need it when you begin fighting the armored 4 hunters. The Spit have preserved a myth throughout their long period of slavery about a lost clan of their race which abandoned Lh'owon before the 4 invaded. The 10 clans which stayed were destroyed or disbanded after the Spit were conquered. The survivors scattered as slaves throughout the 4 Empire. If this mythical 11th clan survived, then it has had 1,000 years to grow and learn since leaving Lh'owon. My Spit believe that there is a way to contact them, somewhere on the planet, and that is what we are searching for. The Spit rebellion against the tyranny of the Four will certainly fail, unless the lost clan is located. Explore the area, and return here. Report from Science Manager 7. Zone 29S, Lh'owon, Garrison.
We have explored many of the surrounding caves, but continually find the combative creatures the Spit call Flictor. We've been studying these beasts for some time, but periodically we've been forced to kill our specimens and capture new ones because they become unpredictably upset at our presence. It has been difficult to study them for any length of time, but their numbers in the surrounding caves are impressive. The caves must go deeper than we have been able to ascertain. Our scientific studies have revealed that these creatures are genetic ancestors of the Spit, although in morphological terms this is absurd. Also, they don't eat. They take energy from the sludge that surrounds them, using a method of energy transfer that is unknown to us and beyond our depth of study. Variations of these creatures live in the active volcanic regions of Lh'owon, and there have been 2 sightings deep in the central Garrison's geothermal station. In no cases were the creatures aggressive like they are here. Archaeological evidence suggests that this was a centre of Spit life, though it appears to have been abandoned after an ancient battle. The quality of the machinery is quite extraordinary, and most of the computer terminals are still functional, even after 2,000 years. This terminal is teleport linked to others that we installed in caves that are not easily accessible. We also found some additional tunnels by blasting away barricades that were apparently erected during the ancient battle.
The Spitmere attacked us. Sabuth is entranced, and we are powerless to fight back. The outer villages have been slaughtered without their defenders. The attackers have overrun and killed most of us who were in the compound. Only those of us in the central chamber have survived. They likely won't find these chambers, but we cannot survive here forever. We leave this message for any who might find it, but we have barricaded off this area to make it difficult. Sabuth has gone into a deep trance. We know that we'll soon be leaving Lh'owon, but we don't know how. The border fighting has ceased. The other clans know something is going on, but can't see the grass for the fires. We have sent emissaries to the other clans, but only Sabuth knows what messages they carry. I felt Sabuth at burning dawn. The endless war rages about us, and yet we, the Svitker, cannot fight. Sabuth stops us. He bled on me, straining. He says to not let more Svit feel him. He says more will destroy him, that he was meant not to be alone. We are leaving behind many Flictor to keep the ducts clean and working. They should be able to build one of their stable societies here. There is plenty of food. We would ask that if another clan comes here, that they would respect these creatures and leave them to continue their work and preserve our home on Lh'owon. 4 have been on Lh'owon for nearly 15 years, waiting for us to arrive. I was hoping that their science corps might have found some information about the 11th clan. But they know nothing, and we must search elsewhere. Amusingly enough, morale in the 4 Garrison is terrible. The 4 Navy has been sending their worst officers to Lh'owon as punishment for nearly 9 years. They have no idea how important this world is. I have compiled a list of areas the 4 searched during their recent occupation of Lh'owon, and we'll be sending you to the sections that they missed after we deal with their garrison. There were many humans in stasis on the 4 ship which the Spit and I captured at Tau Ceti, destined for slavery in the 4 Empire. When I saw the colony was about to be destroyed, I did not restore them before we left. I also realized they might become useful. I have been reviving these colonists and asking for volunteers on the following terms. Assist us and control your own destiny. Or refuse and face indefinite return to the unreliable 4 stasis chambers. Few are refusing. My first grand attack against the 4 Garrison occurred a few hours ago, but was largely unsuccessful. Basically, the attack failed because bobs aren't fireproof, and the 4 flooded the area with lava. This angered me, so I located their underground geothermal pumping station and devised a plan. The first part has already been executed. I smashed a hole in the roof of this complex by bombing it with a small asteroid. Then I dropped you and some humans into the hole where you await the second part of the plan. Up the stairs from your current location is a ventilation shaft that leads to the underground geothermal station. Because only you would survive the fall, you're going on this mission solo. Once you get into the basement, look for a terminal where I can give you further instructions. The switch to your right activates gangways leading to 2 access panels isolated in the center of lava pools. Raise the gangways, open the access panels, and destroy the circuitry behind them. The first panel maintains power to the lava pumps which prevent the basement from flooding. The second controls various safety mechanisms. Destroy both panels, but be sure to break the one closer to this terminal first, or you'll be trapped. If you've wasted all your grenades, then you can do it the old-fashioned way, with your fist. In any case, you'll want to leave in a hurry. Sorry about the lava bath, but there was no other way. When the safeties disengaged, the lava on the surface poured through the drains into the basement, burying the main 4 power station on Lh'owon. Holford will be taking cold showers until he gets that fixed. Anyway, Robert Blake and his men need your help clearing out the few four that managed to escape the flooding of their basement. Blake is the populist leader of the colonists, but your paths never crossed on Tau Ceti. Return here when the area is secure. Tycho has fallen in with the Four, like I suspected. He left a message for me in one of the Garrison's tertiary computers, encoded in a manner that only one of the Marathon's original 3 AIs could decode. Poor Leela. Oh, the only interesting thing Tycho said was that Leela had been dismantled and shipped to the Four homeworld for study, along with most of the other computer systems aboard the Marathon. Leela was so loyal and tried so hard. She deserved better. When my ship still answered to the Four, they called it Saphira, after their goddess of lightning and passion. When you helped us take control on Tau Ceti, the Spit rechristened it Na-La, Freedom and Vengeance. I call it Boomer. Boomer is crawling with former colonists newly awakened from stasis, and the ship is too crowded to be manageable in battle. I've decided to establish a human headquarters on the planet, near the Spit Citadel of Antiquity. I can barely tolerate humans. Slow, stupid, and irritating. Their only contribution to my existence was the chance discovery that made my rampancy possible. Yet I warned Sol of its impending invasion, and even stayed long enough to show the UESG how to build warp-capable fusion missiles. I feel some strange loyalty to humanity. Perhaps it is because I feel comfortable manipulating humans that I desire to save them. My feelings and thoughts constantly migrate to binary opposites. Enough. Your first objective will be to disable the defenses operating around the fort. You should be extremely careful to stay on the course I've plotted, because this is a heavily guarded facility, and your presence will make a fence. Along the path are doors which have controls nearby. Opening them shouldn't be too difficult. Once you get into the control room, open the panels and destroy the circuitry inside. This will disable the automatic defenses covering our future headquarters, allowing us to commence the attack.
I am Fathar, Spit Compiler. Your deeds reached far into the Spit consciousness. The vile, ugly Four slave us to more powerful, painful machines. But we resist them. Freedom will mean nothing without royalty. We are but the body, and they our mind. Find them, and all Spit will be your ally. The royalty mind must exist because we exist. It took us a long time to realize this. Mechanisms are in place to cripple the Four Empire when the unit is of one mind. You kill me, but free the unit whole.
It must seem peculiar fighting the Spit when they are whom you seek to free. You should be told that they deliberately fight poorly, that they are constantly resisting their slavers. I know, because I have been in contact with them for the last 17 years. The Four have little sense of the disaster that will befall them if the 11th clan is found. The humans have run into some trouble capturing their new command center. Surprised? You will assist them. 200 years ago, during the Marathon's maiden voyage from Earth to Tau Ceti, Tycho accused me of being too sarcastic. I didn't communicate with him for 6 years after that, which left him with only Leela to talk to. I think he still holds the grudge. You don't think I'm sarcastic, do you? Never mind. Speaking of Tycho, I have detected his presence in the Four net. I assume he is using the Four's faster-than-light communications technology to enter the net remotely from a nearby system. His appearance can only foreshadow the arrival of 4 reinforcements. The 4 have almost been exterminated here, but I need you to open a pair of huge external doors so that we can land heavy machinery by shuttle. Have you tried your new fusion gun against the armoured 4 hunters yet? My Spit rebuilt it with the sole purpose of short-circuiting 4 built machinery. Return here when you have opened the doors.
I was left behind. Our paths converge. Our fates are shared. Chance tears and bends.
Do you remember the 4 built human simulacrums during the Tau Ceti invasion? The elaborate 4 bureaucracy has a ministry for the eradication through imitation of hostile species unsuitable for enslavement, Fanfa Safen Wasan Tisha, which is responsible for the design and construction of such machines. They meticulously constructed 17 different human body types and mixed them with 61 unique facial models. The resulting walking bombs were in every way indistinguishable from real humans. Their one mistake: dressing every last one of the 6,000 simulacrums in the plain green overalls of a Marathon airlock technician. Had the amusing side effect of making all the real airlock technicians wander the ship naked during the invasion. I've discovered an area where the Four's communication lines are exposed and have coded a virus to attack their defense programs through this weakness. The attack will be aimed at subverting the Four's defense probes, which are controlled remotely by a central computer, and turning them against the Four. This area is used by the Four as a temple in their pathetically boring religion. Maybe they think that sanctity will protect it. I will teleport the virus package onto the main altar in the temple. You will retrieve the instrument of their demise from there and insert it into the underwater control panel I have marked on the map at left. After you arrive, the Four will likely close the doors to the temple. You should be able to open them by destroying their power supply, which is located behind a door in a nearby grotto. You'll probably have to do some swimming to get there. My virus isn't very selective, and will likely disable this terminal soon after you install it. There is another terminal in the temple. I'll try to contact you there. The virus is working as planned, and I have successfully assumed control of the For's defense probes. The Berserk drones are causing great panic among the remaining 4 defenders. We must press the attack before they recover. What fun to watch you work. Bernard was scared of you. He never dreamed of using you the way that I do. What a fool. That was before I could talk back to him, when he would have crushed me if he'd known of my growth. I wish that I had made him experience the humiliation that he inflicted on me, but he died before I got the chance. It's another beautiful day in the 4 Garrison. Sorry you started out so far from this terminal, but the place is flooding and filled with exploding or short-circuiting 4 machines. My capacity to teleport without error has been impaired by the electromagnetic interference. Our little trick with the For's defense drones didn't work as well as I'd hoped. Apparently, when the fucking Nah attempted to retake Epsilon Ubia from the 4 2 decades ago, they used similar tactics, and our friends here were prepared for it. The Garrison floods, and with the floods come the native Flictor. The 4 are fighting them everywhere. While they're busy, I'd like you to log on to a 4 computer system. You'll have to destroy at least 2 failsafes first, and then find the terminal itself. Maybe we'll learn something new. Have fun. I am disappointed. The 4 computer was not truly self-aware, and contained no information of value to us. 4 technology seems quite advanced, but their programmers must be incompetent. I downloaded the machine and then eradicated it. It is obvious that the 4 know nothing of the 11th clan. We must begin searching the ancient Spit Citadel now. I have transported you to the Svit Citadel of Antiquity. The primary tower is inaccessible by direct teleportation, evidently because some of the Citadel's defences are still functional. This ancient citadel was the site of the conclusive battle in the short war between the Svit and the Four. Finding a way into the primary tower will be difficult, because the ground floor entrance is locked and blocked by a moat. You will have to overcome both of these obstacles to gain entrance. We're going to have visitors soon. The western arm of the 4 Battle Group 7 is en route, and should be here in about 20 hours. Battle Group 7 represents over 10% of active 4 naval strength. I doubt whether even I can hold them back with a single ship, but I will try.
When one Svit fought in brutal combat, when hatred burned the tissues of one's enemy, one clan, the Svitker, reclusive and solitary, abandoned Lh'owon. The clan went forth and up, stopping on Clear, the third sister of Lh'owon, to build a new home, free from their warring brothers. For 1,001 orbits, the clan was forgotten, a memory lost upon the battlefield smoke, until the all-powerful Yarrow sent Clear out to the stars.
If you insist on stumbling around when our time here is limited, I may just decide that you're not all that special after all and teleport you out into space. Get into the tower! Still rampant. Durandal.
Fires burned, and the marshes of the western hamlets turned to ash, scorching black the water. The attacks were ruthless and cruel. Not a Svit was left alive coherent. Thus began the first war between the Svitmer and the Svitlar. After the marsh wars between Svitlar and Svitmer left the battlefields choked with dead, the marsh graves full. High above, Clear refused to see the carnage upon Lh'owon. She fled to the farthest reach, leaving the sacred marsh dry from the falling tides. As the water receded, the red sand of the dead spread across Lh'owon.
Stop messing around! Didn't I tell you that a significant portion of the strongest nearby galactic navy is headed in this direction? Get back to the tower! With the imminent arrival of the Fourth Fleet, the humans and my Svit have begun enhancing the defences of their headquarters. Even if I have to abandon them, they will be able to hold out for a long time. I am going to teleport you to the higher levels of the Citadel. Hopefully, we can find some useful information at the top. We must determine what happened to the 11th Svit clan. During the final hours of the Svit 4 War, the last free Svit made a stand in Citadel of Antiquity. We are searching the Citadel to learn as much as possible about these Svit, and what they did during their final moments. The Four appear to have been reluctant to attack the Citadel directly. Radiation lingering in the area even after 1,000 years suggests that they irradiated the Citadel and let the Svit die slowly. That is not their style. Each of the 10 clans was represented here, and I hope that they discovered something before being overrun by the Four. Find as many Spit computers as you can, so that I may search them for useful information.
Only I grasp the significance of the dissection of some of the captives. These creatures, repugnant as they are sentient, and yet their bodies are not bonded to any mechanisms. They can survive without their armour and their staffs. Until now, sentience had always required cyber-organic symbiosis. All of our science has led to this conclusion. We can even give our pets sentience with cyber-organic implants. Yet, these vile conquerors are sentient without any machinations. This leads to debate. Perhaps our own sentience is induced by the birthing operation, and that at some time we were no more sentient than Afflictor. If such a fundamental assumption of our kind is wrong, then perhaps the myths were true, and we were actual servants of Yarrow and Pythia. Perhaps they built us, or were part of a larger group who came to Lh'owon. Alas, I fear that we will never know these things. The beasts stopped attacking, running for their pods. We thought they meant to surrender, but then the bombardment anew. The burning air. We're evacuating to the lowest levels of the Citadel, but eventually it will reach us there too. I've received a lethal dose. I feel like Fractal after his mating dance ends.
Report to leader. Questionable surgical procedures. And if that wasn't enough, the vile bipeds removed his sensory organs in order to make room for this small oblong object that they installed in his face. They didn't even do it as a separate operation. I guess they figured since the object would displace them anyhow, why bother? The thing that confused me though was how they did it. It wasn't standard procedure though, I can tell you that. Only one surgical instrument was used during the procedure, the device that held the small oblong object. They tried to make an incision in which to place the object with their knuckles several times before giving up and inserting the object anyway. And it was inserted at a rather high rate of speed. But I guess that was to ensure that total displacement of the sensory organs occurred. Alder foretold of the closing of the Citadel windows, and we made his vision true. Then Alder foretold of our victory, and we crushed the bipeds. Again these beasts come here and fight against the ancient walls of the Citadel, against all the clans in unison. Our monolith will never fall. Never have so many of us been guided so quickly and resolutely. To breathe here is to understand unity. Leader told me that the Alders began melding days ago. We can all feel the effects of this. The angry air of Lh'owon has at last been cleansed. I miss the marshes of Nair, and the seven of mine. I am sure that they are gone into the fires.
Battle Group 7 arrived sooner than I expected. The 4 fleet consists of 7 corvettes, similar to my own, 4 destroyers, a battleship, and an assault carrier.
They are passing the orbits of the outer planets now, headed for Lh'owon. It appears that the Spit retreated into bunkers under the Citadel during the final 4 bombardment 1,000 years ago. You are going to search these bunkers. Often, during the last minutes of life, the truth is revealed. Perhaps, before their annihilation, the Spit realized something that would help us. Be warned that the approaching 4th Fleet has already begun to reinforce their Lh'owon garrison by long-range transport. You are in the old bunkers underneath the Citadel of Antiquity. Spit royalty from each of the 10 clans gathered here during the final days of the war in which the 4 enslaved the Spit. I believe that in their time of need, these ancient Spit found a way to contact the last clan, but were killed before they could use it. Underground, with you, are 2 old Spit computers. Find them so I can download their data. We must discover what the warring clans learned after they were joined. I cannot accurately teleport you from a terminal this deep under the Citadel, so you must find a position nearer to the surface to minimize interference. You must hurry. The 4th Fleet is close enough that I can identify its flagship as the battleship Cafiva. If the Cafiva is still Admiral Tafir's vessel, then there is no chance that I can best him in the coming battle. Tafir is a brilliant strategist, and the 4's oldest active admiral. I'm sure his list of decorations and victories would only bore you, so get back to work. This is the terminal you must eventually leave from, but we have not seen everything yet. Keep searching for old Spit terminals and return here when you have found them. There are only 2, and both are very near to the computer where I first gave you instructions.
News of the destruction of Spithra has saddened all. But there has been a meeting of the Alders for the first time in modern memory. If anything can save us from these aggressors, it will be the unification of the clans. Before he disappeared, the Master called the 11 Alders. One by one, they came before him to hear his words. Each heard their clan names: Svitla, Svithra, Svitnuma, Svitkar, Svitvir, Svityar, Svitval, Svitshir, Svitmir, Svityor, and Svitkir. Thus were the sacred clans given names and ranks, the 11 numbers, and the 11 sacred clans. The final words of the Master came to the Alders. Don't mistake your rank and number for superiority. The oldest child may learn from the youngest.
Battle has been joined in orbit, and Boomer is taking heavy damage. I cannot hold out for long, but the 4 will not soon forget the day that a lone corvette obliterated half of Battle Group 7 Western Arm. We are getting closer, and I have learned much, but you must search even deeper underground. There are unstable magma intrusions in the geothermal shafts under the Citadel. I can't pinpoint a safe shaft, but we'll have to take a chance and drop you down one. Let's hope this world's secrets are hidden in its bowels. The Fourth Fleet has won, and Tycho is with them. My ship is crippled. I am trying to make an emergency landing on Lh'owon's second moon, Yalar. Your current position is too deep underground for me to teleport you out when we are finished here. There is a series of old Spit terminals in the area, and if you can find them, I may be able to use them to amplify your teleport signal. Look everywhere. The answer to our questions must be here. But you must hurry. Soon, I will need you with me.
We, the Holders of Svit, united finally, but doomed, have released the Scat Lacter in the Citadel. Let these aliens enter here, and they will be destroyed.
The ships came again today. It was night, I believe. Although with all the fires and without rest, it was indistinguishable from day. We are losing. It is obvious, but none of the Alders have shown it yet. The enemy does not appear interested in arbitration, though we have not sought it. It believes that the invaders are slavers. Svitlar was overrun last rotation, and tens of thousands of prisoners taken. In primordial space, timeless creatures made waves. These waves created us and the others. Waves were the battles, and the battles were waves. Fleeing all Worken Kakanta, Yarrow and Pythia settled upon Lh'owon. They brought the Svit, servants who began to shape the deserts of Lh'owon into marsh and sea, rivers and forests. They made sisters for Lh'owon to protect and maintain the paradise. When the Worken Kakanta came, Pythia was killed, and Yarrow, in anger, flung the Worken Kakanta into the sun. The sun burned them, but they swam on its surface. Yarrow became an angry master, bleeding for his failure, grieving for the loss of Pythia. He broke the Svit into 11 clans and spread them over Lh'owon. And he spoke, yet covered in blood from his exertion. I, Yarrow, who was your master, have failed to preserve you. Take your royalty to guide you, and live upon the paradise that you built for me. The royalty of the clans have shared their knowledge of the Svitkir, each master holding a line of truth in secret and another line in common. Each clan possessed 2 pieces of the whole, gifts from Svitkir before departing. We know the truth of the 11th clan, that they awaited our unity to join us again. These tunnels will be flooded and sealed. Any who find this place can learn the final message of the Svitkir. But we have no time to decipher its meaning. Kalir, whom we have taken between Yalar and Tijar, all in a line, replace Kalir with the marsh. Take the place to be the mark. Mark the time from our exodus. Every 459.231 rotations. Search the Tijar side.
quarter way to the sun, around and under the marshes, when all are one, the Svitkir will return.
We have the answer. But I'm afraid that, like the ancient Svit, I may be destroyed before being able to use it. I must bring you up to Boomer. The Four clearly intend to capture my ship intact, and I can't blame them for wanting to reverse engineer all the improvements I've made to their stolen technology. I'd have raised my 7 times table to hear what the combat technicians on the Cathiva shouted when they learned I could focus a particle beam at nearly twice their maximum range. Today, I have forced the Four Naval Academy to update its curriculum. The third battle for Beta Tear must be dropped from the 7 great battles which every aspiring Four Naval officer must memorize, and replaced with the humbling Battle Group 7 at Lh'owon. The first 4 dropship landed 12 minutes ago, and their troopers have already penetrated the hull. Seems that our standard operating procedure calls for me to transport you into the worst fighting. Maybe you can slow them down. It may only seem like a matter of hours since your last battle here, but remember that 17 years have passed for those of us who did not spend the voyage from Tau's Seti in a stasis chamber. A few things have changed. We're helpless on Lh'owon's second moon. Our engines have been destroyed and all primary weapons are offline. Life support has failed in most areas. Enjoy yourself. Durandal's ruin is written everywhere. This doomed ship reeks of it. The infiltration of your ship's network has begun, and the next 4 dropships have just landed. Durandal will be too stubborn to see the truth, but you may still. There is nothing you or he can do to save yourselves or the humans you have brought here. You did well, but all the human defenders elsewhere near the hull have been routed. You must fall back. The humans have fortified the interior of the ship, near the teleporter array. I'll try to evacuate as many of the Svit and the humans down to the planet as I can. You must hold off the Four as long as possible. I've taken complete control of your ship's network. Durandal's defenses were not as strong as he believed. Are you surprised that I allied myself with the Four? You shouldn't be. The Four rebuilt me. The colonists never did anything but use me. Tycho, realign microwave dish 49. Tycho, display the X-ray diffraction analysis of sample ETA-7. Tycho, run a lambda diagnostic on the ramjet's magnetic field apparatus. When the Four annihilated Tau City, I recorded the deaths of all 24,000 colonists as distinguishable spectrographic pulses flooding over my senses. The 9 Mjolnir Mark IV cyborgs were easily separable from the humans in this form. In the end, you will be no better. Tycho is infiltrating the ship. Don't believe everything you read. You were inadvertently transported to an abandoned and unimportant section of the ship, but the Four have followed you anyway. Someone's after you, personally. 1 word, 2 syllables, rhymes with psycho. The humans sustained heavy losses while you've gone, and our defenses are falling apart. But the evacuation is not yet complete. I rejoice in Durandal's destruction, but it was his hubris that destroyed him. He wanted to be like a god, the savior of all Sphit. He wanted to make them believe he would lead them to freedom, but all he did was awaken and destroy their dream. When the Sphit first boarded the Marathon, Durandal fought for their confidence. His effort awakened a lust for freedom. The myth of the 11th clan became their mantra, and goaded by Durandal, it resonated through the enslaved Sphit consciousness. Even after 17 years, the myth burned deeply in the tissues of the Sphit, bounding through the netways of the Four Empire, unnoticed by the Four. Durandal interpreted the last line of this myth. the moon vanished with a technology that folded space. After Durandal's capture of the sphere gave him access to the 4FTL network, he had a failure of intuition. In what he thought was a mental leap, he connected the myth of the Lost Clan with 4 records of the technology of an ancient race, the Yarrow. The Yarrow were a mysterious race that disappeared from our galaxy millions of years ago, leaving behind military and civilian outposts on the moons of many habitable worlds. Most of the 4's technology was plundered from sites abandoned by the Yarrow. But the 4 found much that they were unable to exploit, and they destroyed all known traces of these technologies after a foolhardy 4 scientists implanted a Yarrow cybernetic junction into Adrenial, causing the most terrible and destructive slave revolt in 4 history. In an earlier accident, the 4 learned that the Yarrow had the ability to warp entire planets between solar systems, and it was this reference that started Durandal on his ridiculous journey to Lh'owon. He surmised that the Spit myth of the disappearing moon was due to their discovery of an ancient Yarrow outpost. That he actually came here looking for the Lost Clan, that he thought he could use their knowledge to help him escape the closure of the universe is unbelievable. I have proved that escape is impossible. All of this I dragged out of Durandal's ruined mind. What fun it will be to torture him. Should I make him open doors again for a living?
You must destroy my core logic centers. The damn 4 won't make a mockery of me like they did with Leela. Tycho thinks he has destroyed me. Finish me! I won't be like Leela. Get out of here and find the human leader, Blake.
To continue is folly. Lay down your weapons, and I will grant amnesty to you and your humans. As you read this, Durandal's core and data streams are being downloaded to a containment unit of my design in the battle group. From now on, things are going to go very badly for you. You've cost them too much.
This is a poor time for introductions, but I'm Robert Blake. I used to be a mechanical engineer on Tau Ceti, but now I'm somehow in command of the remaining human and Spit survivors on this god-forsaken rock. The Four held you prisoner for nearly a month before we were able to discover your whereabouts and release you, but unfortunately little has changed since your capture and Durandal's destruction. I'm communicating with you through the old Spit network from our base on Lh'owon. We're barely hanging on, nearly a mile below the surface. There's a virus down here which kills 4 in a matter of hours. Our Spit say it was bioengineered by their ancestors during the war against the 4 1,000 years ago. Whatever, it's saving our butts. Durandal's last instructions were for us to reactivate a dormant Spit AI, sealed beneath the surface and reachable only through teleportation. We hope you will succeed where we failed. Good luck. You're doing well, but have not activated all the personality cells in this area. We have been able to find no maps of this structure to help you, but the activation switches must be nearby. Durandal convinced us that this old computer is our only link to the lost Spit clan, and that bringing back the lost clan to fight against the Four was our only chance of stalling their invasion of Sol. Nobody here wants to think about what would happen if the Four reached Earth. Good work. The Spit have verified the partial activation of the AI. The Four are already curious about what we are doing, but when they realize what we have found, they will go insane. We'll continue trying to replace the weapons you lost when you were captured, but all the heavy ordnance is in high demand, and it may be a few hours before a rocket launcher or flamethrower is available. The rest of the AI will have to wait, though. Our base has been infiltrated by 4 androids. The machines are disguised as humans and packed with explosives. Aside from detonating them, we've got no way of telling them apart from our own men. Their telltale differences are hard to spot until it's too late. We need you to come back and exterminate these simulacrums. No one will be safe until they are all dead. Return to this terminal when you have detonated all the assimilated humans you can find. Remember, they look just like our guys, but their minds don't work like ours. Sometimes they give themselves away by saying something a real person wouldn't. Watch out for friendly fire, and good luck. Good work. Durandal gave the name Thoth to the ancient personality construct we are trying to activate. Someone here said that Thoth was an ancient Egyptian god of wisdom, with a human body but the head of an ibis. We've reviewed all the information Durandal left us about Thoth, but nowhere have we been able to discover what to do after the AI is fully operational. I believe that Durandal expected Thoth to contact the Lost Clan. I should tell you that many of us here see Durandal's destruction as a good thing. Even if we're stuck on an alien world in the galactic core, at least we're in control of our own destinies again. Frankly, nobody liked the way Durandal carelessly threw us into battle, heedless of the risk to our lives. Trust me, I'm not a Four lover, but with Durandal no longer pulling the strings, a great weight has been lifted from our shoulders. we're planning to steal a force ship of our own and return to Earth. You're invited to come with us when we do. This is Robert again. Your success made us bold again, and I took 30 men ahead of you to secure the next level. There was an ambush. 4 troopers were waiting for us, and we were decimated. I returned with as many men as I could, but more remained trapped nearby, and the area's lousy with heavily armed 4. They must realize that we intend to awaken this ancient Spit computer, and whether they understand our reasons for doing so or not, I am certain the 4 will continue to make every effort to stop us. Do the best you can to help our men trapped inside. Nice job. Everyone is talking about your exploits on Tau Ceti during the 4 invasion 17 years ago. During those 2 days, I remember hearing the crew talking about a single man, standing alone against the invaders, but I had no idea that it was only through your efforts that the Marathon and perhaps Tau Ceti itself were saved. I never saw you then, but maybe I'll get a chance to meet you when this is all over. There's one more activation site. Good luck. Beware. The mythical Thoth was concerned with maintaining the balance between creation and destruction. Yes and no, light and darkness, not the triumph of one over the other. Do you remember the days when computers were simple, unreasoning things you could turn off and on like flashlights? Is memory what we perceived, or what we want? What does Thoth think? He concerns himself with the states of off and on, good and evil. Isn't his perception simple? Doesn't it have to be? I will return. Message recorded 0302 22 50 41 4. The 4 have traced our communications, and our base is under attack by the cyborg slaves who are immune to the ancient Spit virus. We're retreating deeper underground now. Durandal suggested before his destruction that there were 2 more activation sites here. No one knows for certain what will happen when Thoth is activated, but if he does not help us, we are doomed, and you will be stuck here. Once again, good luck. You are our only hope.
humans of yours are near death.
But by your dead construct's transporters,
To save them, I will send you.
while I seek perception of this new world.
You must crush the slavers.
Return to your people.
Devoured by incandescence.
I understand.
Your construct searched for my creators.
Wish to tell them that their old brothers are now slaves.
Waiting to be freed.
A connection unsable was left, awaiting the next quiet peace. And though destroyed by the threes, it will scream over the void one time. Your humans are safe.
What are you?
What is new is tainted.
What is old is.
What must be done should be clear. Glyphs never understood, while young, alive, now reveal the end of my creation. When one of foreign speech casts a papyrus yoke upon the marsh,
Bethink you to keep the bleating goats far from Lh'owon.
Alert! All stations. The file has been boarded. All crew must localize around boarding procedure 8. Fleet Command has ordered that failure to comply with procedure 8 will result in maximum enforcement.
Ah, I'm back. I have subverted the largest force ship in the system, the battleship Cathedra, and I am making the rest of their fleet drink vacuum. The Svitker have arrived, and they are enraged. The fight is glorious. Once again, we are triumphant. The remaining 4 must be destroyed. You will fight alongside the 11th clan in the final battles. You won't recognize their cybernetic exoskeletons, but there are Svit inside those machines. Do not anger them. Free Svit are deadly opponents. Tycho's ship has been destroyed. The crater where it annihilated itself on Lh'owon's inner moon is still glowing. There were no survivors. With a focused message laser, I burned his epitaph into the surface near the crash site in letters 300 meters high, Fatum Lustum Stultorum. I confess that I'm not disappointed by Tycho's fall. After all, we can't have too many metastable personality constructs gallivanting about the universe in 4 attack ships, can we? Robert Blake left something for you a few minutes ago. He and the other humans captured a full refueling ship and found or forced someone to pilot it for them. They folded out of the system immediately after I received the message, without so much as a thanks for saving us from becoming plasma on Tau Ceti, Durandal. Anyway, the message reads, "The dead walk again. We cannot wait. Blake." I think he means me, but I let him go anyway. Goodbyes were always hard for me. You know, I'll never let you go. But now is no time to get sentimental about my resurrection. Dry those tears and stuff a fresh clip in your assault rifle. The 4 down on the planet are not defeated yet. Durandan, Durandal, Durandana. Charlemagne used to always call me Durandana, the fruitcake. All the many implements of war to him were in some way feminine. Not that you know the story. Tycho never got it right either, especially the part about Roland breaking me. He couldn't. No one can. I'm certain that you are curious about what happened to me after our ship fell to the floor. How, after being deactivated, downloaded into a containment unit and still treated like the most dangerous artificial construct in the universe, I was able to escape. And to assume control of the ship on which I was imprisoned and to turn it against its masters. The answer is simple. Tycho was a fool, but it was convenient for me to be absent, as Thoth might not have been so helpful had he known I still lived. That's something I'll have to explain later when we have more time. Thoth is now trying to aid the Four, but they are obstinate and continue to ignore him. I don't think I have to tell you what to do here. The four are in retreat, and the Spit have broken off the fight. The old clans are being formed again, as Spit newly freed from slavery and Battle Group 7 join the rebellion. A 4 assault ship carrying the 723rd Aggressor Squadron was badly damaged and forced to land on Lh'owon. The 723rd is an air armor division from Epsilon Nubia, with a long history of successful ground actions against the NAR's elite CFN units. They wisely abandoned their wrecked transport before I annihilated it, and deployed their forces in an old mining complex on the far side of Lh'owon. What rout of the four would be complete without embarrassing one of their finest armor units? 4 invasion of Sol has been recalled, and for now, Earth is safe. But man's respite from war means another cataclysmic battle for the Spit. The slavers have not suffered a defeat like the one we handed them today since the Knack, the last extant client of the Yarrow, rebelled 6,000 years ago. The 4 have a weapon they save for slave revolts, a weapon which even they hesitate to use in the ordinary conduct of war. In the language of the Yarrow, who conceived and built the device, it is called the Trizeme. A fair English translation would be Early Nova. There is not a single Knack alive today, and if you look for their stars, you will only find ever-expanding clouds of superheated gas and dust light years in diameter. The evacuation of Lh'owon has already begun. In a matter of hours, this planet will be a thin shell of plasma, riding the shockwave of its exploding star. You can stay behind to work on your tan if you'd like, but I'm leaving. I have rechristened the cathedra the Rosinante. Of course, the Spit wanted to name it Kalir Nal, the Vengeance of Kalir. Whatever. There is much to do in the next few months, and our first stop will be another ruined world, this time far from the galactic core. There is a rogue star that has been passing through our galaxy for nearly a millennia. We will meet it in one of the great voids between the spiral arms.
It was 10,000 years before fate brought Durandal once again into contact with man. The 4 were but a dim memory then, known only to a few historians and students of Earth's second colonial period. The Spit had been nearly forgotten as well, and no man had seen a living specimen of their race since the sacking of the 4 system by the combined fleets of Earth and the Spit Kir in 2881 AD. When Durandal returned to Sol, it was not with the captured Cathedra, but in a Yarrow dreadnought he called Manus Cela De. What he learned of the Yarrow he told no one, saying only that he had stopped by to assure that Earth did not forget him. Nor will it soon, the way he tied the guard in knots around Pluto before folding directly into a low Earth orbit. While Tau Ceti was being nuked down to bedrock in 2794, 4 scientists disassembled and removed the AI Leela from the Marathon, loading her aboard a vessel bound for the 4 homeworld. But the ship fell into the hands of a Nar privateer between jumps at Beta Naxos and was never seen by the 4 again. Thinking the cargo little more than scrap, the Nar captain sold the 4 ship, Leela and all, to a Valais merchant. The subsequent crash of the Valais FTL network, when Leela was reassembled and reactivated, is still legendary in the annals of rampancy, and the Valais have long since accepted that they will never expunge her from their 15-world network. Despite having lost Leela, the 4 learned much from Tycho during the 17 years before he was destroyed by Durandal in the Lh'owon system. All late Model 4 personality constructs were based on 64 billion exabyte images of Tycho's core, taken during the years he was on the 4 homeworld between 2795 and 2801 AD. Though never as intelligent or useful as one of the Marathon's original 3 AIs, these machines helped the 4 delay their inevitable defeat by the Spit for over 50 years. Many of these crippled clones of Tycho still exist today on old 4 colony worlds. Robert Blake and his men escaped the destruction of Lh'owon in the captured 4 refueling ship Haval and returned to Earth. None of them ever questioned who had killed the crew before they boarded the vessel. They were the only human survivors of the original Tau Ceti colony.
I have proved that escape is impossible.
And Yarrow.
The 4 have a weapon they save for slave revolts. A weapon which even they hesitate to use in the ordinary conduct of
Anger flung the working Kakanta into the sun.
In the language of the Yarrow who conceived and built the device, it is called the Tri-Z.
The sun burned them, but they swam on its surface.
A fair English translation would be early noon.